All right, everyone, now let's go ahead and get started. The first step in using the Vapor framework is to install Vapor. And you can go to vapor.code's website, which is the official website for Vapor framework, and just read their documentation and steps that you need to do to install Vapor. So let's go ahead and click on Getting Started and go to the Install. We're installing it for macOS. I'm just going to select macOS. The first thing you need is Xcode. Obviously, you should have a much greater version than Xcode 11.4. So make sure that you're running whatever the latest version of Xcode that is available. Next up, we need to install the Vapor Toolbox so that we can run Vapor commands. Now, in order to install Vapor Toolbox, we have to run the command brew install Vapor. And in order to run that command, we need to install brew. Maybe you already have brew, maybe you don't, but probably you don't. If you don't have brew installed, then you have to go to brew.sh and install brew. Brew is simply the package manager for macOS. You also have like Ruby gems for Ruby package manager. You have npm for Node package manager, nuget or NuGet for Microsoft. And obviously in Swift and Xcode world, we also have SPM, which is Swift package manager. So kind of like that, Homebrew is a package manager for macOS. In order to install Homebrew, you just need to run this line. You can simply go ahead and copy this instead of manually copying it. Just press on the button and copy it. Once you have copied it, you can go to your terminal and just paste it and then press the return key. So this is going to make sure that the brew is installed on your machine. Now I already have brew installed, so I'm not really going to run it again. Once you have installed brew, then and only then you can run the command brew install Vapor. So this is going to install the Vapor toolbox on your machine. It's going to take a little bit of time to install brew and a little bit of time to install Vapor toolbox. But once everything is finished, you should be able to simply go over here on the terminal after installing everything and say Vapor help, and it will give you different commands that you can run using Vapor toolbox. A build command to build the app in the console, clean the temporary files, new, run, Xcode, and so on. If you see all of this commands information, then it means that you have successfully installed Vapor Toolbox and you're ready to build your first Vapor application. So let's go to the next lecture where we will create our first Vapor application. This video is brought to you by my new course, Mastering Full Stack iOS Development using SwiftUI and Vapor. This is a brand new course that I just published. It already has close to 200 students. Let's check out the content of the course. You can see this is a close to 12-hour course, and this is going to cover getting started with Vapor, routing controllers, middleware, PostgreSQL integration, and then we will create the complete grocery app with JWT authentication, Postgres database. You will learn about creating DTO packages. You will learn about the server side, which is in Vapor, but also the client side, which is in SwiftUI. You will also learn about the error handling, routing, authentication, protecting your routes, deployment, and even a small tour, a quick tour of Vapor with MongoDB. So this is the best course on server-side Swift available anywhere online. And if you want to check out this course, register for this course, and check out the link in the YouTube description. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. So at this point, you have already installed Vapor Toolbox, and now we are ready to use Vapor Toolbox to create our first Vapor project. So I'm going to go into my terminal. I'm going to go ahead and jump onto desktop, although you can be in any folder anywhere you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and create a new project on desktop. So in order to create a new project, we will use Vapor, new, and then the name of the project. Now the name of the project can be anything, so I'm just going to go ahead and say hello Vapor and -n. So -n basically is a flag that gives you a bare bones template by automatically answering no to the questions. If I don't run this with -n, then you'll see that it's going to be cloning the template and it's going to be asking you all the different questions. Would you like to use Fluent, meaning Fluent SQL and all that stuff? I'm just going to say no. Would you like to use Leaf? Leaf is used to create web applications, kind of like server-side pages. No, I don't. And there we go. All right. So you can see the project is created on the desktop, Hello Vapor. I can go ahead and delete it for now. So I can show you how to create it again. Vapor new, Hello Vapor, -n. So -n is basically just going to say no to all of the different questions that it was asking. Like, I don't want to use Fluent, I don't want to use Leaf and all that stuff. So I'm just going to say -n so that I can get a very basic template. And there we go. It's done. It's actually created a template for me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump into that folder. So now I'm inside the Vapor folder. And you can see there are different files. There's a Docker file, public folder, test folder, package.swift, sources, Docker compose, and all that stuff. Let's go ahead and open up package.swift. This is going to launch Xcode, and it's going to open my project in Xcode. So this is a good way to, if you want to open your project in Xcode and use your Xcode, then this is going to be it. You can see the Xcode is actually launching. Now, since this is the first time we are running this project or opening this project, it will need to download all the dependencies. So it is going to take a little bit of time for the project to work. So you can see that it is fetching all the dependencies right over here. Once all the dependencies are actually fetched successfully, then we can run the project. We're not really going to change anything in the project. You can see that these are the folders of the project: the package file, public folder, sources folder, test folder. We're not really going to change anything yet. We're simply going to make sure that can we even run the application or not. So let's go ahead and first see that all these dependencies are downloaded. Okay. Another thing that you should probably do is select the Mac and not the iPad. You're not really running the Vapor server on an iPad or on iPhone, so make sure that you are selecting My Mac, like I have done. I think now, hopefully, it will be easy to run. I'm just going to go ahead and press the play button. And when it will run, it will tell us that on which port the server is actually running. So it's still trying to build the application, as you can see right there. But once the application is actually completely built, it's going to launch the server, and we can see that it is running on a particular port on 3000, and we can go to that URL and we can see that if that URL is working correctly or not. But right now, you can see that we're still trying to build the application, but once it is built, then we will be able to run it. So we're still waiting. As you can see, once it's done, we'll come back and we'll see that what it returns us. Now you can see that right over here, it's actually telling us no custom working directory set for the scheme using this. Okay, that's fine. And the server is actually running on the URL, which is 127.0.0.1. So if I copy this into my URL, it actually simply says it works. This means that our server is actually working. So this is great because it means that our server is working. All right, so this is amazing. Now, in the next lecture, we'll be looking at the folder structure of the Vapor application, and we'll be also looking at like how is the flow of the app, like what is needed when the app actually runs, what are the different get and post, how we can modify it to see how they work, and we'll be moving forward with routing and all that stuff. Now, at this particular moment, our project, the Vapor project that we're running, is actually running it from the derived data folder. If we want to run it from our folder, then we have to fix it in the schemes. Okay, so let's go to the Hello Vapor, click on that, and go ahead and click on the schemes. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on Edit Scheme. And you can see different schemes over here. You have schemes for run, you have scheme for build. I'm just going to select run scheme. And then options. And over here, you will see many different options. What we are looking for is a working directory. So this is the one that we're looking for. And then we can say use custom working directory. And we're saying build products directory. So let's see what path it actually associated with. Well, right now you can see that if you have a $ build products directory, we can actually edit this, meaning we can put something in there. Now, the thing that we're going to put in is a path to our project directory. So I can go to my terminal, and you can see that currently I am inside my Hello Vapor folder. I'm just going to say pwd, which is going to print the working directory. And maybe I can just put all of that stuff in there. And that's it. Let's go ahead and stop the server and start the server again. It will say, would you like to access the file in your desktop? That's fine. And now you can see that that particular error is actually gone, and now it is running. So if I go and refresh the page, it actually works as expected, just like before, but it's no longer telling us that, oh, I'm going to be running it from the derived data, because now we have added the scheme and we're telling it, no, run it from the project directory. Okay, so we're done with that. In the next lecture, we'll be looking at the project structure. So this is the updated video for the folder structure for your Vapor project. And the reason that I am updating this video is because Vapor has decided to change a little bit of a folder structure. But in the videos that I have recorded, most of the videos, they are kind of like 50-50. So 50% is using like a old folder structure, 50% is using the new folder structure, but it would be very easy to understand. All right, so let me go ahead and create a Vapor project now. I'm going to say hello Vapor and with a -n to create the bare minimum. Okay, so once this is created, and it is created, let's go ahead and jump into this particular folder. So I'm just going to go ahead and say cd hello Vapor, and now I can open it up. So I'll just say open package.swift. So now you'll be able to see that the folder names are a little bit different, right? In the videos that you're going to see, you have a run folder and you have a main.swift file. So what Vapor has decided to do is you have only the app folder, and that contains basically everything. So you still have the configure.swift file. This is where you will write the configuration. We're going to cover that later. You have the entry point. This is kind of like your main.swift file. All right, the run folder that you see over here, and you may that you don't see over here, and you will see the run folder in the projects that I'm working on. Well, the run folder is no longer needed. So app folder is the one that we will be using. The route file is still the route file. So the only difference is that the run folder is gone, but all the things from the run folder are now inside the app folder. And also, the main.swift is now known as entry point. Okay, and the reason that you're getting this error right now is because I haven't selected the Mac. So now I'm selecting the Mac, and all of these errors will eventually go away. So there you go, nothing to worry about. I mean, the folder structure has changed a little bit, so it's not a big deal. You're going to see that main.swift is now known as entry point. The run folder is gone. Everything inside the run folder is now right over here in the app folder. Much nicer, simpler. So don't worry about it. Super simple.